Okay, so this is a video for P5E, a preview video. So this is the assignment. We could go check it out. Let's see. It's taking a second. Looks like to load the rest of it. Here we go. So we did P5A, B, C, D. Now we're on P5A. Now this is an old free response problem. So this is some good practice. We are going to make a working version of it. So if you want, you could kind of handwrite your solution as if it were on the AP test, but we're going to go ahead and type it up, make it work, which means we're also going to add some things to it that weren't already there. So if we take a look at this problem, it says set of classes used to handle different ticket types for a theater. The class hierarchy is shown following diagram. So this is a UML diagram. It has a solid arrows, which means that ticket is a superclass. Walk-up and advance are subclasses of the ticket. You have walk-up tickets, advanced tickets, and then there's an even subclass of advance, which is possible. Special type of advanced ticket called a student advanced ticket, which is an advanced ticket, which is a ticket. Okay. Now, they're going to give you some information that we're going to type up. I'm going to help you out with that. All tickets have a serial number and a price. That's it. Private variables probably, right? The class ticket is specified as abstract. So you can't just make a regular old ticket. It's got to be one of those subclasses. And here is that abstract class. So it says abstract there. It has private variable serial number. Now, it doesn't necessarily have a private instance variable for price. Even though all the tickets will have a price. So there's different ways you can deal with that. You could create a private variable price, or you could just have a method that determines the price. There's a constructor, 0R constructor. That's it. Only a 0R ticket constructor in the superclass. And it assigns a serial number to serial number using a method called get serial number, which is listed down here, but it doesn't show you how it works. So we're going to type that up. I'm going to help you with that. And it has a method, a getter for get price. Now it says it's abstract, which means that the method isn't, the code for the method isn't here. The code will have to be determined in the subclasses. And this is what you do when you know that all the subclasses are going to have a get price method. So they all have it in common, but they're all going to implement it in different ways. So there's no point in putting code here for get price if all the subclasses are going to overwrite it, essentially, right? They're all going to overwrite it. So why would you even put any code here? But by making it abstract, it forces the subclasses to implement it. If they don't, you'll get an error when you try and compile it. So it's a good way to force them to do the job. Okay. We also have a toString, pretty basic toString. Okay. Now the toString, a lot of times the subclasses will partially override the toString. So we might have to do that. If we don't want to change anything about it, then we shouldn't rewrite it in any of the subclasses. And then here's it returns a new unique serial number. So I'm going to help you with that code. Otherwise, all the code is there that you need. So here's a little table where they show you some examples that help you understand the problem. It says each ticket has a unique serial number that is assigned when the ticket is constructed for all ticket classes. The toString method returns a string containing the information for the ticket. 3 additional classes are used, the 3 to represent different types of tickets and are described in the table below. So here's some examples that you might include in your toString. But I'll probably, or in your driver, I'm going to want you to create a driver to test this out. And that's not described in this problem at all, but we're going to. And walk up, this is just description. This is what gets printed out when you do the toString. Ticket number and then price on separate lines in that order. Yours should do exactly that. The advanced ticket, it talks about, walk up are on the day, $50. Advance are for tickets purchased 10 or more days in advance and cost $30. Tickets purchased fewer than 10 days cost more. So the more ahead of time you buy it, more of a discount you get. Student advance. These tickets are of type advance, and the cost is half of what the advance ticket would normally cost, whether it's 10 days in advance or not. So it's going to end up being 15 and 40. But I want you to use that, and you take advantage of the advance ticket pricing that's already been determined so that you don't have to just start from scratch. But this is what the toString looks like. Notice anything different there that yours should have exactly like that? Now, your ticket numbers aren't going to match these ticket numbers. They're kind of random numbers. I'm going to show you the code for the one way that we can make it. But yeah, there's no way we would be able to match that. Okay, using the class hierarchy and specification given, you will write complete class declarations for advanced and student advance. I want you to go ahead and write the class for walk-up also. It should be a little simpler. So I want you to do walk-up also. I'm going to help you do the ticket class. And then, of course, you're going to do a driver. It says, write the complete class declaration for advance, include all necessary instance variables, implementations of its constructor methods. The constructor should take a parameter that indicates the number of days in advance that the ticket is being purchased. That's it. They're telling you right here that your constructor should take one argument. And so don't do a zero-hour constructor. Your constructor for this should take one argument. That's the number of days in advance. Okay? And then that probably means that's going to be a private instance variable for that subclass. Everything else that it inherits from the superclass. Tickets purchased 10 or more days in advance cost $30. Tickets purchased 9 or fewer days. So in the driver, I want you to do 3 cases for advance. I want you to do less than 9 days, I want you to do 10 days or more than 10 days, less than 10 days, and exactly 10 days. I want you to test all 3 of those cases. Okay. All right. And then you're going to write the complete class declaration for student advance, which you should do after advance because it's a subclass of that. Include all necessary variables. The constructor should take a parameter that indicates the number of days, just one argument. Don't do a zero argument. The walk-up is going to be a zero argument because walk-up, it's no days for sure. The toString method should include a notation that a student ID is required for this ticket. A student advance ticket costs half an advance ticket. If the pricing scheme for advance changes, your student advance should change on its own. So that means you better rely on the advanced class pricing scheme, not just doing it separately. So that's the problem. That's the whole thing. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to help you out a little bit to make this working version. So we're going to go to BlueJ. We're going to create a new project. This one's totally separate than anything else we've done. I'm going to call it P5E project. Okay. And there's nothing here. We're going to create a new class. We're going to create the ticket class. Now, one interesting thing here is you might look down here, you might see abstract class. We're not going to use that. That would put one little extra word in there for you, but we're going to just retype the whole thing anyway. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to get rid of everything that's here. And let's type the code that was on the assignment. So, if we go to the assignment, it had almost everything you need. I'll type it up for you on the video, but it's all right there. Okay, so we're going to type all that up. We're going to put all that in. I am going to help you add a little bit to the get next serial number because they don't show that. So we have to have some code for that. So I'm not expecting you to figure that out on your own. So public abstract class ticket. Now I need to make this bigger. I don't know what happened to my, let's see, options, preferences, go with 24. I don't want it to auto indent. So for some reason, okay. Public abstract class ticket. and we need to create private instance variable. So private int serial number was given to you. So we can put that there. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and add something else here. I mean, I don't know how they did it, plan to do it, but we're going to make a working version. You wouldn't need to worry about this on the AP test. I'm going to create a variable, a static variable. And what that means when we say static, so this is a good opportunity to talk about something else that's popping up here. Static means it's a variable that's for the ticket class in general, but not for any specific ticket. So static there's static variables, there's static methods, and they're meant to be sort of just something to help the ticket class do its job, but aren't meant to be specifically for a unique ticket. Okay, constructor public ticket. Now it is 0arg. This constructor, because all that's going to happen here is that you're going to assign a serial number. Essentially, you're going to create the shell of a ticket with a serial number, but then everything else is going to happen in the subclasses, because we're never going to actually make just a ticket. It's abstract. We can't. We've made it so we can't. So end 0arg constructor. And then they have this method here that says returns the price for this ticket. And it was public, but it was abstract, meaning it's not going to actually be created here. We're essentially just setting it up. That's its name, that's its return type. We have to implement this method in the subclasses. Okay, so essentially you're going to retype that in the subclass, but it's just going to say public double get price. So you'll get rid of the abstract. If you don't create the get price method, this will not allow it to compile. So we don't even put the brackets on this. Okay, it's really just the header. Then there was another method that says returns a string with information about the ticket. And so this is an abstract. This one actually is implemented. Code is written for it. String to string 0arg, which is typically, pretty much that's always toString is going to have end method toString. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close my curly braces for the method so I don't forget. End method, or for the class, in class, or I could say abstract class. End abstract class ticket. Okay. Now in the toString, they gave it to you because they're saying, well, you know what? Usually you're going to want to return the number, and there's a space there, plus the serial number. And then on a new line, if you look at the examples, in new line, and then that kicks it down the price. So you don't have to separate that or put any spaces there. Put a space, then the quote, plus get price. So this will call the get price method. So you'll notice that we probably don't need a private instance variable for price. We have a method get price. So it's going to print it out. Okay. Now, there's one thing we need to add. So returns a new unique serial number. You don't want two tickets with the same serial number, do you? Right? So this is what's going to do that. This is a static method. It's private. We don't want to allow it to be called by a client class. This gets done inside the class. So it's private. We don't need it to be public. And it returns an int. And it's static because static means that it doesn't get applied to a individual ticket. It's a method that gets run every time we create a ticket. But it's kind of on its own. It does its own thing. Now they didn't show the code for this. So what I'm going to say is I created this extra static variable, private static variable, not an instance variable, just to keep track of what the last ticket was. So this will keep track of the last ticket number, and I just want to increase it by 1 and then return that. So that when this method gets called, it will increment the ticket number for the whole class and then return it up here in your constructor. You call it, you say get serial number, it'll return the next number that hasn't been used. Okay. But on its own, last serial number and get next serial number, this is all independent of a specific ticket. It keeps track of the last ticket number used and increments it so that the next ticket will get that number. So that should work for that. So if we compile it, let's make sure everything worked. It's compiled. So we have our ticket, and notice it says abstract there. So now you're going to create I could go ahead and start showing you. I could say we're going to create the walk-up ticket, and we're going to create the advance ticket. And I'm going to try and arrange this just like the picture that was in the problem. And then we're going to create a student advance ticket. Okay, and that's going to end up down here. Now, that's all I'm going to do. We're also going to create a driver. So I want a ticket driver. And that might be down here. I don't know. We'll figure out where to put it so the lines look nice. So I'm going to let you guys do all of that. I guess I could help you out with the driver a little bit. I don't know. You're supposed to do advanced student advance for the AP problem. I want you to do walk up also, which they don't do, but I think you could do. In the driver, I'll help you out a little bit with the driver. Now, the driver, just to reiterate, I want you to test. I want you to have examples for 3 different advance tickets for different number of days purchased, all the different cases. Less than 10, equal to 10, more than 10. And then I want you to have 3 student advance tickets, same thing. And then I want you to have at least 1 walk-up. So you're going to create at least 7 tickets. Now, public class ticket driver. And this is going to be the thing that allows you to run it. Public static void main string args. And now after today's talk, now you kind of understand what static means a little more. I think we talked about it last semester when we were doing multiple choice. So we're going to have that and method main and class ticket driver. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to create those 7 tickets that I described, and I want you to go ahead and put them in Arraylist, ticket Arraylist. So we're going to go ahead and use Arraylist. So we're going to say import java.util Arraylist. So I do want you to do that. So I'll kind of start this. You can say ticket. Let's create a ticket. I'm going to call it walk-up1. Let's do these in order. Let's do the less than 10 days, then equal to 10 days, and then greater than 10 days, because otherwise it's going to be hard for me to really understand your code very quickly. New walk-up. And the walk-up should be 0 arg, because it shouldn't, it's 0 days. It's known. You can do ticket, and you can say advance 1 equals new advance ticket. And so I want one that's less than 10 days. And then I want one that is exactly 10 days. And then I want one that is, and I want you to do them in this order. We're all on the same page. It'll be much quicker to check these off for you guys. And then I want one that's more than 10 days, however more than 10 you want. Okay, so then you're going to do this for the student advance also. You call it student advance 1, etc. Okay. And then I want you to put them into an array list. Holds tickets. And this is kind of interesting. This is kind of helping demonstrate polymorphism also. So we can actually put all these different kind of tickets in the same array list if we have it hold tickets, the superclass. You can't even make a ticket, but this will hold tickets. New array list. Ticket. So you guys should be good at making array lists. So, and then you're gonna add these ticket holder dot add walk up 1 ticket holder dot add advance 1. So you're gonna add all 7 of these to your array list, and then I want you to do a for each loop to traverse the ticket holder array list and use the toString and verify that they all do the right thing. Okay, and if you do it in order, it'd be a lot easier to make sure they have the right prices. So I'm not going to show that. So you use a for each loop to use the toString. Call the toString on each ticket in the ticket holder array list. Put a new line between each of them, so they're not. I don't want a super long line of 7 tickets. I want each on their own line, and then make sure that it comes out right. So that's the help I'm going to give you today, and you're going to do the rest.